This is the plaintiff, Sam. She says the defendant is her ex, and the no-good guy owes her money because she made 8 payments on his car, and he won't pay her back. She has no other choice but to sue him, and that's exactly what she's doing. To get the $2,576.03 he owes her. This is the defendant, Allington. He says the plaintiff was his fiancée, and they purchased this car together. Once they split up, she kept the car for 4 months. Oh, her? No way. He's accused of failing a fiancée.
All parties, please raise your right hands. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Leon is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay. Ms. Sam, you're suing your former boyfriend, Mr. Allington. What are you suing him for, my dear?
I am suing him for the cost of the repairs of the car in the months that I paid for the car.
Okay, so tell me about this car. How long were you two, first tell me how long you two were dating.
We were dating for 8 months. We were engaged for a year and a few months.
Okay. And who decided to buy the car? Did you buy it together? Was it in both of your names? How did that go down?
Allington decided to purchase the car. The car he had before had been breaking down due to modifications made to the car. So the car was in undrivable condition to a point. So we decided it's time to get a new car. So we decided to purchase the car on August 16th, 2019.
In whose name was the title?
I thought both of our names, but the title is in his name.
Okay. He apparently thought your name or both of your names. Were you on a loan?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he also on the loan?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, take me to March of 2020. The pandemic shuts things down, and what happens? According to you, you paid March of 2020?
In March 2020, I went on furlough from my job. March 2020, he also stopped working as well. I did not find out about the March payment until around June, and that is when I had to make the March payment as well as April.
Okay, so I do see on this June statement that you paid $255.48 and then another $255.48. I can see that on your June statement. We've got your July statement,
yes.
$265.48, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then on July 25th, I see that you made another payment of $255.48, and then on August 21st, you made another payment of $260, okay? And then on September 18th, you made another payment of $260, and now, because you paid October 23rd, you paid another $260.48. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you give him the car back? And we'll go backwards.
The car was taken back from me in November.
When did you guys break up?
July 16th, 2020.
And why did you break up?
We just got into a very bad argument, decided to call it quits.
Mr. Allington, why did you guys break up?
So starting from that night, I was just questioning the relationship to see if the love was there. I asked her, do you still love me? That kind of stuff you usually do. And, she said that I was with her for the car. And I it kind of took me off guard. I was like, why would you say that? You know what I'm saying? I asked her all of that. Then she continued to say that I was with her for the car. So, me being me, I'm like, that's not true. I loved you, whatever. Went into her mother's room, tried to talk to her mother, tried to figure out, what I should do.
Why her mother?
Forward. I spoke to her mom because her mom is, talks to her and can talk to her and would be able to explain to me why she's acting the way she is, or, that kind of stuff. Once I spoke to her mom, me and her mom had a nice conversation. I walked out of the room. I went into the living room. I sat down, and I guess her mom was talking to her, and her mother just kind of asked her, what if he leaves? And between everything going on, I heard her say, I don't care. And once I heard that, that was when I called it quits. That's when I, decided that's it. If she doesn't care that I leave, then that clearly means she doesn't love me. And that's when I decided we should break up.
So when did you break up? What date?
July 16th.
That was the same day, July 16th, yes.
She's right about the date? Okay. And then what
Yes,
happens
that's
with the
correct.
car? Again, the car was titled in whose name?
It was titled
We
in my
thought
name.
ours.
You thought ours, but you know that you don't think that, you see that. But anyway, you tell me what name did, as it turns out, in whose name was the car titled, Mr. Allington?
It's titled in my name.
So let's hear from you. Talk to me. Tell me about the car.
Yeah. So basically, what happened is once I broke up with her, and the car, when I didn't want to take the car. I just wanted to be done with the relationship. Because remember, she did say I was with her for the car, and I wanted to prove to her that I didn't need her or the car. I wasn't in the relationship for a car. And once I decided to leave, I decided to leave with the car. But my mother kind of saw it in a way where, it's your car, your name is under it. It should be you. You should take the car because that's not fair. That's you made the payments and certain things like that. So I decided that because my mom was just like, you have to take the car. So we took it. But then what happened was
Can
I
I
noticed.
ask you a question? How old are you?
26.
How old are you, Miss Sam?
I'm 21.
Okay. So go on.
Right. So once I took the car, I noticed that her purse was, Samantha's purse was in the car, and I decided to return the purse because I didn't want anything to, for anybody to say I stole her purse or anything like that. I brought the car back with her purse. I decided to call Samantha and I said, hey, I have your purse, your belongings, you got to come and get it. And, she instantly just came outside, didn't say anything to me, just jumped into the car while the car was there with her key and just decided to basically almost drive off with me in the car because I didn't want her to drive off with the car and cause an injury to herself. She tried to drive off with the car with me.
I thought you said the big breakup was to prove to her that you didn't need her or the car. So what happened to that big symbolic gesture you were trying to make? So now you're without the car for how long? It's the middle of July.
I didn't have the car from July all the way to November. I had no car.
Okay, and then what happens in November?
November, that was the time where, before that, I think it was October, where we found the car parked basically parked into the mall. It was in the mall. And at that time, it was weird because we basically told Samantha that the registration and the insurance was canceled, and I saw the same exact license plate on the car. So at that time, my mother was like, but, since it's canceled, why is there the same license plate on the car?
Yeah,
that
I mean,
you
what
had?
that means is if she has a car accident with that car, you as the owner of the car would be responsible for the accident as well. You would end up having to pay. So if you were keeping the car, why didn't you make sure that the title was in your name, Ms. Sam?
I was told that the car was mine, and so that's all I knew. I did not find out the title was not in my name until I went to go register the car myself. As soon as I found out.
And then what did you find out? When you went to go register the car yourself, then you knew it wasn't in your name. But when did you do that? Because we're talking July, August, September, October, November. When did you do that?
I found out in October that the car was not registered, so I immediately stopped driving the car. I drove my mom's.
Okay.
And then I went to register the car.
So then what happened? The moms got involved in negotiating? Like, what happened here that the car ends up going back to you, Mr. Allington?
Right. As for with the information, I also told her mother, because she basically blocked me on Messenger. I couldn't message Samantha anymore. So I told her mother that the car is unregistered and it's not insured. And also the night before, when me and her broke up, my mother told her mother while we were there that we are going to cancel the registration and the insurance the next day. So there was no misconstruction. Right.
So how does it come about, Ms. Sam? Tell me how it comes about that you return the car to him. Tell me what happens there.
So as soon as I found out from the Department of Motor Vehicles that I wasn't able to register the car without my name signed onto the title, I contacted his mother because she wanted all business to go through her. I let her know the situation. I had a form sent over from Santander to allow my name to be added to the title, but he had to sign and give rights. So I asked nicely. I was just like, hey, is it okay if he just signs this? I will go and.
But why would he sign? I'm sorry, I don't understand. Like, how many car payments did he make before you started picking up on the car payments?
7.
If he made 7 and you made at that point 3 or 4, Why is he signing the car over to you? Why would that be an appropriate course of action for you to demand? Like I'm trying to figure out.
He said he gave me the car. So if he gave me the car, then
Okay.
there should be no problems for him to sign it over so I can continue the payments.
Okay.
I was afraid
Okay.
of him not being able to make the payments again and drop my credit score again.
Right, because you're 21 years old and you loaned your credit to a boyfriend, which was a very bad idea anyway, right?
It's very terrible.
Did your
idea.
mother, who's I know both of your mothers, and I'm a helicopter parent, so I am. Moms, are you in the rooms listening to me? Are your moms in the rooms listening to me?
Yes.
She's
both
in the
of them?
room, but
Okay.
I have the headphones in.
It's fine. No, it's good. It's all good. I just want to say there's nothing wrong with guiding your 20-year-old. However, I'm a little bit confused, and I want to know, did you ever tell your mother, Sam, that you were signing for a loan for your boyfriend?
Yes.
You did, and she didn't say, are you out of your mind?
Oh, yes,
And
she did.
didn't she say, oh, she did. Why?
She did.
Why is it such a bad idea? Oh, because look at us now, right? Right? Yeah, terrible
Exactly.
idea. All right. So how does it end up, Ms. Sam, that you end up returning the car to him? Why do you return the car?
I did not return the car. The car was taken back because I was then told by his mother that, oh, he's not signing the car over, that I need to get together the repairments that I made on the car and she will give me half. And I told her I did not drive half of this car and he's not taking half of this car. So November 20th, I got the text at 12 o'clock in the afternoon as I'm washing dishes. Oh, we just picked up the car. So I still had, I had some of my stuff in that car still.
Okay,
So
slow
I
your
was
roll a
very
second. I
frustrated.
read through the, hold on. I see you negotiating with his mother, and you very clearly say, I don't want just half of it. You had just put a bunch of money into repairs, correct? You'd put like $1,000-something into repairs, and they were long-term repairs. They're things like changing the brakes, or it's stuff that's supposed to last for years. And so you say, I want the money I put for the repairs back. And the mom says, we'll pay you half because you've been driving the car for whatever. And you say, oh no, I'm not settling for half. Now, Mr. Allington, you're like, oh, why is she suing me for half? I thought that was settled. By whom? By your mother? It wasn't settled. She made very clear that she's just sue you for the other half because she feels like she put all that money into the repairs and then you're getting all the benefit of it. So what justification would you have after taking the car back to not pay fully for the repairs?
So as for the repairs, we basically, everything she said was right. She did. My mother did contact her and say that she was going to pay half of the repairs. She came to my parents' house and she took half of the payment, which was the $600, and I sent in that proof about that payment. And she took the money. So for her to say that she wasn't going to take half of the repairs payment and still took the payment.
No, you're not understanding. You're not understanding. There's a concept in the law called accord and satisfaction. That means when you strike a deal, you can't whine about it later. Your position is, oh, we struck a deal. She took the money, so she can't whine about it later. What you're not understanding is that this is legally not accord and satisfaction. Why? Because she made very clear to your mother that she wanted the entire payment. Here are the texts. I want the full money. She says, we agreed to half. And this is before you take the car. And Sam says, I didn't pay half the repairs. I didn't pay half of anything. Unless I'm getting half of my repairs back, I want my money in full. She's being sarcastic. Okay, maybe we should go to court. Okay, then maybe we should. So I can get the full $2,900 your son owes me today. Do what's best for you. All I am asking is for the money paid, and your mom wisely says, I will not go back and forth. Come pick up the money order tomorrow. Okay, no problem. I can come before. Did you go pick up the money order, Sam?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, so if you did, it's not a big surprise that they came and took the car. You're making it sound like they stole it from you.
No,
Just like it shouldn't be a surprise to him that you want the rest of the repair. It's not a surprise to you that they took the car, right? So, Mr. Allington, what is your position on whether or not you should have to pay her back all of these car payments? Let me hear it.
So as for with all of the car payments, my position is because she had basically had the car for the months that when we broke up. She had that car and she was driving it through that whole time. She had it through, parked in her garage or whatever. She was using the car. As for the time of when we were together, yes, she did make those payments when we were together, which, I appreciated. But I did agree to give it back to her because of the fact that we were together. And those were the 3 payments that she had made. But as for
and then since she didn't want to be with you, you don't have to pay her now? What is it you're saying? I usually hear the flip from litigants. They say, I never agreed to pay because we were a couple. We're sharing everything. But you're saying I agreed to pay it while we were together, but now that we're not together, I don't have to pay it?
No, what I'm saying is the months that we wasn't together, those payments were not anything that I agreed to because she had the car around that time.
I am with you. The months that she has sole possession of the car, she's using the car. She doesn't get to say, you got to pay for me using the car all those months. I am with you. However, when I go through the bank statements, I see that what I've done is I've gone through the bank statements up to the date that you guys broke up, and that's up to the half of July. What had she paid up to the half of July? The answer to that question is $914.18. Why wouldn't you owe her that $914.18?
Well, as for that, that's definitely something that I guess I would owe her.
Right. So you owe her the $914.18. And Ms. Sam, you want to be paid all the car payments that you made, including the months that you made them when only you were driving the car. I find that what you're entitled to are all the car payments that you made up until the time that you two break up, which is mid-July. That is a total of $914.18. I also find that because the car was taken on November 20th and you had paid in late October, those payments are all prospective. They're not in the, like they cover the next month. And because you were cheated out of a third of the car, I'm also adding a third of the payment, which means that you were owed an additional $87. And that's just on the payments that you made that do not cover the time when you had sole and exclusive possession of a car that wasn't even registered in your name. That's $1,001.18. I also find that the repairs that were made, she's right. If you all of a sudden decide that you want to take the car and you get the benefit for the next several years of that repair, why should she have to pay any of that repair? So I know you've already been paid half of the repair, and I'm going to order the additional $508.15 to also be paid by you. That means you, Ms. Sam, are entitled to a judgment in the amount of $1,559.33. That is my verdict.
So the plaintiff is going to get back just over $1,500. She was suing for $2,500. Let me ask you how you feel about that, Sam. What's your reaction to the judge's decision?
I'm very happy with the judge's decision. She's absolutely right. He should not have to pay me for the months I drove the car. I'm just happy I am getting back the full amount I paid for the repairs.
So let me ask you what you feel about this whole thing. Have you learned anything through all of this experience, do you think?
Yes, Your Honor. Do not just lend your credit to anyone, even your boyfriend, if you feel like you're going to be together forever, because forever isn't as long as you think.
Yeah, no kidding. And you were really seriously thinking about marriage. Mr. Allerton, how about you? Do you think you've learned anything from this whole experience? I mean, it's gotten really messy, hadn't it?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you live and you learn. Even though you think things are going to work out in your way, they don't. You just learn from your mistakes and you just move on and try to do the best that you can moving forward.
Do you miss her? I mean, did you love her? Do you still love her? Or is it all over in your mind?
Nah, it's completely over, man. I mean, I definitely don't miss her or anything like that. There's a lot more behind the scenes than anybody could put forward. But at the end of the day, man, you just move forward and you continue moving and you just don't let what happened in the past push you back.
Okay. Well, you got to give her over $1,500 and that'll do it for this case. Interesting, really interesting. What do you think, Harvey? How about it?
So, Doug, here's the deal. If you are in a relationship with somebody, and especially if it's a fresh one, and all of a sudden the other person starts saying, hey, can you front me money? Can you co-sign on a car? Can you do this and that for me? You got to really think about it because you know what? Most relationships don't work out. Think about the number of people you've been with and broken up with. It just happens. You got to be vigilant about this, and you got to realize that it doesn't end well most of the time when you do stuff like that.
Hey, Judge John, do you think Marilyn was crazy to leave her job on the bench to preside on the People's Court? That is a question from James.
Well, I think everybody has a tiny bit of doubt in their mind before they make big decisions in their life. It's not always cut and dried and obvious. But as far as Marilyn goes, she was such a prodigy in the legal world here in Miami that, yeah, this was a momentous decision. She had, a lot of people don't know this about her because, well, she's a TV judge and who knows all the details of her actual career, but she skipped a grade in middle school, skipped a grade in college, graduated from college summa cum laude at the top of her class with a perfect 4.0 average, and then did law school. And you came out of law school, I think you were a 23-year-old lawyer, is that right?
23.
Barely. You just turned 23, so that's kind of racing out in front. And then she gets to the state attorney's office. I think she was the youngest division chief they'd ever seen in that office. And a lot of people had their doubts and were looking you in the eye, as I remember, and saying, are you crazy? Why would you do this, right? And it turned out to be the right move. It turned out to be
now in retrospect, those same people think I'm a genius, you know?
Right. But who knew it would be
worked.
so personally
Right.
rewarding and gratifying to you to do this?
You know, the funny thing is that when the People's Court launched with Judge Wapner, I was in law school. And I remember, people banging on the door of the law school dorms saying, hey, come to the quad, because we had a quad, and that's the only place there was a TV, because there were no computers. And, come to the quad. You got to see this show. There's a show on the air with real court happening in real time. And we all ran over and started watching Wapner.
And who knew from your days at Georgetown that was going to be your future?
Like if anybody had tapped me on the shoulder and said, you're going to be the judge on the People's Court, I think I would have freaked out,